a lot of names down there. It's going to a bar, which I'm sure, you know. Anyway.
Let me see here. 1 second. Kimberly, I did get your response, so we are good.
Alan, have you been over to Josh Lehman's place on the square there? He's got some old comic books. I'm not a collector, don't know anything about value or whatever, but he's got all that stuff. It's kind of interesting to listen to him talk because he's really into all of that. All the old LPs and their comic books and all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting.
I was more interested in editorial comics and this stuff like that, not so much comic. Pogo, I collected all the Pokes and editorial stuff, you know, political commentary. Fun.
That is cool.
So no, I haven't talked to him, Sandra.
Well, folks, it's that time. It is March 15th. We're getting there. We're getting closer to spring, though today it feels pretty cold today. So, but everybody, welcome to Rotary. We've got ourselves a nice program today. More people are coming on to the online here. We're about 60 participants, so that's pretty good. I've got a couple announcements to share with you today. First off, let you know that the board meeting, our monthly board meeting, is scheduled for this Wednesday. And the board is going to have a couple important things to cover. We have talked in depth about our 100-year anniversary, which is currently right now. 2 projects that we are eyeing from a community perspective is the founder row or tree growth row up at Oak Hill Park, easy for me to say. That is being headed up by Lynn Mumal and Peggy Schmitz, have really taken the lead in that project, and that's coming together nicely. And they've even been able to put a cost estimate together. So why is that important? The allocation of funds and the discussion at the board level is going to happen on Wednesday. So, and then also the community flagpole project, which we've talked about down at US Route 30, and working with the Wayne County Fair Board on that project as far as where to physically locate that. We still have a little bit of work to do on that, but allocating the funds to see that moves forward as well. So if there's any questions about those projects, please send us a note, send one of your board members a note about your questions, and we'll make sure that they're answered. But the allocation of funds to support those projects moving forward this spring and summer is going to occur on Wednesday. So just a little heads up. Also, right now, I'm going to see if we can do this in the chat block. If now it'll come up. There it is. Make sure this is the right thing. Yes, it looks like. So everybody should have received a Google form in the chat block. If you are available and willing to click on that and take the survey here during the meeting or prior to, even afterwards is fine. There's some discussion of reconvening in-person meetings for the club beginning on, and this is a date that we're going to discuss at the board, but I think there's some support to look at Monday, April 5th. Monday, April 5th would be a date that we are eyeing and having discussion at the board level on reconvening in person. That does not mean that the Zoom component to the meetings goes away. That's something that I know over the past months, the board has been dedicated to making sure that the online component continues for our membership. But there is a push to reconvene on April 5th in person, so your input in that Google form would be greatly appreciated. I do want you to know that the church, the First Presbyterian Church, we did, when I say we, myself, Terry Snoddy, and Greg Long were able to meet with them on last Tuesday, I believe it was. And their upgrades to Brew Hall are phenomenal. So Tom Rumball, I know you were a point of contact there for the church and have been a member for a number of years. And the investment that they put into Brew Hall, I think that the membership is going to be pleasantly surprised with what they've done. Tom, do you want to touch on a couple of things, what you've done with the hall? Or
Yeah, as far as upgrades to the brew hall, we put up 2 video boards in place of the screens that are up there. So the pictures are spot on. They're very crisp, and you'll be able to see the screens fairly clearly if you're in front of the room or in back of the room. Yeah, looks great. We're very proud of that. And also the audio, again, the upgrades there, you never realize how truly bad the audio is until you hear a quality audio system. So yeah, we're looking forward to, the church is looking forward to inviting Rotary Club back into Brew Hall, and we're excited to show you the changes that we've made, the upgrades that we've made.
yeah, it's an absolute home run. And again, can't wait for our membership to have the chance to see it and hear it. The bright days when it was hard to see the projector screens are going to be a thing of the past. The video wall is impressive. There's 2 of them. So thank you, Tom, and your crew and the church for their commitment to that space. It will not only be good for Rotary, but for a number of community events. So thank you. Okay, Chris Bueller says the second question in your survey only has a yes option. Well, then obviously I wanted you to say yes to whatever it was. So no, if that's the case, my apologies. So just avoid that question. Thank you, Chris. Also, I do want you to know that we have made an allocation of funds. This is in the last couple of years to assist the church with the upgrade to the facility. So we will be allocating some funds to do that. We are also going to have some discussion at the board level to make sure to challenge our other service club that they participate in that financial contribution as well. So we'll be having some conversations with Kiwanis leadership about them supporting that project as well. So just so you're aware of that. Lynn Mumal, you have an announcement about our speaker towards the end of March. Do you want to cover that now?
Yeah, thank you, President Justin. One of the benefits of Zoom is that it allows us to have speakers that we wouldn't normally be able to have because of location or distance. And 2 weeks from today, we have the opportunity to host past Rotary International Vice President, Dr. Ann Matthews. She was the first female International Vice President. She was featured on the September 2013 cover of the Rotarian. And I asked past District Governor Phil Mariola to review her bio, and he simply said she's a Rotary giant, and she truly is. In addition to being Vice President, she's on the she's a Rotary Foundation trustee, which means she's committed a significant amount of her time and her resources to the foundation, and that is her true passion and what she will talk about on the 29th. I also want to mention that she's received almost all of the Rotary's highest honors, 2 of those being the Service Above Self Award, which is the Foundation's highest honor, and the Distinguished Service Award, which is the highest Rotary honor given to an individual. So please mark 2 weeks from today, March 29th, and this would be a good program for guests so they can learn more about what Rotary does internationally. So thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. It does look like the survey is up to date, so you can say other than yes on that question, and all the responses are not required. So if it is keeping you out, just refresh your screen, and you should be able to get us a response. Again, if you can fill out that Google survey, that would be fantastic. All right, so let's see here. What else we got on the docket in this exciting Monday? We got any guests out there today? That anybody you'd like to introduce a guest that's joining us today?
Yes, Justin, this is Karen Berry. My husband, Tom Babiak, is a guest today.
Awesome. Tom, welcome.
Hey, Justin, this is Don Noble. I have 3 guests. Keith Omsos from SJL, an engineer. Becky Jewell, who's our Heartland Trail Manager for Rails to Trails and Orville Rotary member. And Keith Workman, I think he's coming to us from Florida, but another Rails to Trails member. Want to hear our speaker today.
Awesome. Fantastic. Are there any other guests out
Justin,
there?
yeah, this is Kim. I'm happy to introduce Reinhard Klett. Reinhard was a guest speaker of ours here recently, but he is joining us as a guest today.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I was going to say that looks like a familiar face. Any other guests today? Any announcements? Anything that would like to be shared with the membership? Tom, you have something? Oh, you're muted there, bud.
Can you hear me now? Just wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow is another flag maintenance day. And we're running 2 shifts again from 10 to 12 noon tomorrow. Wayne Bear is going to be the leader of that shift. And from 4 to 6, I am going to be the leader to that. If anyone can help out, that would be great. Give myself or Wayne, send us a call or a text, and we will welcome anyone and everyone. You don't have to stay the whole 2 hours, of course. Any help is appreciated. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. Any other announcements? Hearing none, turning things over to, oh, you do. Go ahead, Kimberly. You were going to
I
go
do.
for it.
I'm sorry. I do. I'll be quick. I want to publicly apologize to President Justin. So you all know he sent me the link to the survey and asked that I check it out and see if it worked. And obviously I wasn't concerned about another response to that question. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
So there you go.
Sabotage, man. Sabotage. It's all good. No, I appreciate it. Thank you, Kimberly. And then Don, we're going to turn things over to you to introduce our speaker.
Okay, thank you, President Justin. Each year, the constituents of Wayne County entrust the Wayne County engineer to maintain 499 miles of county-owned roadways, which includes 492 bridges, 2,647 culverts, 24.72 miles of guardrail, 305 miles of centerline striping, 255 miles of edge line striping, 9,314 signs, who knew, and 1,000 miles of ditches and mowing, just for a very minor sample of statistics they must deal with. When Scott Miller started as the county engineer in 2017, he looked forward to the challenge of maintaining such a large inventory and implementing his ideas that would preserve the infrastructure and stretch the Wayne County citizens' tax money. Scott was raised in Trumbull County near Warren and has been a resident of Doylestown since 1994. He's also a member of the Orville Christian Church. He's been married to his wife, Ellen, for 27 years, and they have 2 sons, AJ and Alex. This afternoon, Scott will share with us what his office is doing to keep our roads and bridges in good working order. Please give a warm virtual Wooster Rotary welcome to Scott Miller, Wayne County Engineer.
Very good. Thanks, Don, for that kind introduction, and thanks for inviting me to come this afternoon and give an update or let people know what's going on at the Wayne County Engineer's Office. As I was preparing my PowerPoint, I was like, well, in the past, I've talked about funding and how we needed more money to help us, and also in the past have dealt with the roundabout and the financial behind that, and the discussions of why a roundabout is a good option. But today I thought I would do something a little different. I would dive in deep our maintenance operations. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much our maintenance guys do. And so today I thought it would be good to highlight our crews, our 25 guys that are out in the field making it happen from day to day. And so I put this PowerPoint, as I started putting it together, I was like, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough material here. I can always maybe talk about the COVID and how our office dealt with that. But as I got into it and started putting the slides together, I definitely have more than enough information to provide to speak directly on that. So I'm going to go ahead and start my PowerPoint and share the screen here. Hopefully this works out. Okay, everyone should be seeing my my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, we're located on 3151 West Old Lincoln Way, Wooster, Ohio 44691 is the zip code. If you look at the aerial map, we're tucked in between ADS pipe and to the east of us, and then Stalls is to the west, truck body. We're between State Route 302 and US 250. Here's a street view if you're driving by our facility. If you know anyone that's interested in becoming a county engineer, or even a son or daughter, or yourself, here's the requirements to become a county engineer. First of all, you have to be a certified professional engineer. To become that, you have to get your Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. Then you have to pass a Fundamentals of Engineering 8-hour exam. And then with 5 years of experience, you get to take another test. And if you pass that 8-hour exam, you become a professional engineer. Then you have to do continuing education credits at 16 hours every year to maintain that certification. You also have to have a professional surveys license also. And to get that, you have to have a surveying degree, or if you're an engineer, you have to have additional 16 semester hours of survey coursework. Then you can take your Fundamentals of Surveying class, which is an 8-hour exam, and then 5 years of surveying experience. You get to take another exam for your professional surveyor's license. That's a 6-hour exam, and then there's a Ohio portion that's just 2 hours. The county engineer is an elected position. Our term follows that of the presidential term. It's a 4-year term. Ohio is the only state that elects their county engineer. And also Ohio is the only state that requires them to be dual licensed. This is our staff. We have 11 personnel that's in the building. On the roadway side, I call it, or professional side, I should say. We have the 2 administrative assistants, and then our engineering department. My assistant county engineer is Andy Jones. Eric Liu is the bridge engineer. Ryan Marthy is our drainage roadway engineer. We're currently seeking a surveyor, but then we have Brock Yoder, permit traffic safety supervisor. Shania Reed and Craig Withrich are engineering technicians. The engineer office oversees the tax map office, and the personnel that works in the tax map office, Stacy Peppard is our tax map supervisor, and Lisa Burns is our tax map specialist. Our county engineer personnel, the highway side, maintenance side, we have 33 total on this side. We have a bridge superintendent, Pat Miller, Mike Pritchett, fleet manager, TJ Shamp, highway superintendent. Dean Whitman is our assistant highway superintendent. Then the 25 names below is our highway maintenance crew. There's 25 there. And then we have a traffic maintenance workers, Jeff Metcalf, Dave Richard, And then our mechanic shop is Joe Burns and Dave Culvert. Each year we have a Christmas gathering, and we also, it's the time that we recognize those who have done well in our office and accomplish those who have been there so many years, 5, 10, 15, we notice them. But this year, instead of having a Christmas party, we decided to, all of us to donate money and then we would purchase bikes with this donated money, and we would donate those to children in Wayne County. So actually, it's before Thanksgiving, we collected all our donations. We were able to receive $1,500 with our donations, and we were able to purchase 23 bikes and 23 helmets. And we donated 5 to the Every Woman's House, 180, and then we also donated the 18 remainder to the FOP with their Shop to the Cop program. So very proud of our office stepping up and donating. Where does the engineer's office money come from? We get it from 2 main sources. One is the license fees and permissive tax. So every time you go to renew your driver's license, or excuse me, to renew your vehicle registration, you'll see there's money that filters to the engineer's office from there. And then every time you go to the gas, fill up your vehicle, there is a tax that's associated with that. This last year in 2020, we also received several $100,000 from our RUMAs, from Rover and from Nexus to help some of the roads that were damaged. We received about $200,000 from that. So typically we don't see the 500,000. We don't see that much. The 2020 does show a reduction probably of about $200,000 because of the COVID. There was a gas tax. We did not receive as much money from the gas tax because of the limited driving. One thing that to be noted is property tax does not fund the engineer's office. Okay, and then also a quick breakdown of our license plate money. When you go in and register your vehicle again, there is a straight tax, a license plate tax. We received $3 million from that portion. If you read all the information there below that, it describes how there's a formula basically that describes how that money is distributed. And then on to the right, there is the license plate permissive fees. This is the Higher Vice Code allows counties, municipalities, and townships to pass up to 5 different $5 fees. 4 of the 5 have been enacted. So if you live within any city or village or in Chippewa Township, you would be paying $20 for your vehicle registration. If you're outside of those areas, you're only paying $15 for the registered vehicle. A lot of our townships have not decided to pass that additional $5. The gas tax, this is the breakdown of gas and or diesel. At the bottom there, it's the gas tax is, if you add up the state tax and the federal tax, you're 56.9 cents for every gallon that's pumped, and then for diesel, it's a substantial difference of 71.4. To take note, in 2019, the start of the state, I'm sure everyone realized that the gas tax went up in 2019. It went up 10.5 cents from where it was, and from 2005, went up 10.5 cents up to 38.5 cents per gallon for gas, and then it went up 19 cents for diesel. Here's a breakdown of our expenditures, roughly around $8.9 million. You can see 36% of that, just over 3 million, goes into the labor and fringes, and then our road materials and contracts. That's a little bit over the third of our money goes to that, and then the breakdown of where the rest of the money goes. Now I'm going to get into some of the duties of the county engineer. One thing that the county engineer is responsible for is the maintenance, repair, widening, resurfacing, and reconstruction of pavements on our county highway system. Wayne County, we have 499 miles of county infrastructure. We rank 4th out of all 88 counties as far as the number of miles. And you can see our neighbors. Stark County comes in at 407 miles, and then onward. Summit County only having 182 miles because of most of their areas are incorporated with cities. But you can see it's Wayne County's ranks high in as far as the number of mileage we have to take care of. One of the things that's in our roads is culverts. Culvert fact number one, there's culverts are pipes that carry water underneath the road and are less than 10 foot in span. We own, inspect, and maintain 2,647 culverts. We divide our culverts into 2 categories, large and small. And for the large culverts, are culverts of 48 inches or greater, and of course happen to be under 10 feet. We have 306 large culverts, and then our small culverts are less than 48 inches. We have 2,341 of them. A program that I'd like to point out is we do work with the townships. We have a large culvert policy with them, where we'll inspect their large culverts, which would be culverts on township roads that are greater than 48 inches. There's 239 large culverts throughout the rest of the county on township roads. And we also will help them replace large culverts, where they will pay for the pipe and material, and we do the installation. Here's one project I'd like to highlight, a large culvert replacement. A couple of years back, we had some major flooding to the south and in Wayne County, and McCoy Road in Franklin Township was a large culvert. The picture to the left here was the old culvert that we found downstream, and it ripped pretty much a big hole in McCoy Road. And we were able to work with Franklin Township to replace this large culvert. I believe this ends up being a 96-inch diameter corrugated metal pipe. But we are capable of doing quite large structure, even when they're deep. This one's probably a good 10 feet into the below the roadbed. Okay, getting into road maintenance. A lot of people don't realize all the different things that we do as far as the county does for road maintenance. You can see the picture to the left there. It started many moons ago as far as dragging material from pouring it from the back of a truck into a skid steer of some sort, and then compacting it. One of the things that we do, of course, is potholes, and hopefully, as you continue to see more and more improvements of our roads, you're going to see less and less potholes. One of the things I'd like to point out here is to the left here is before I got here, and they typically would do a 2-man crew, and they would put a load of pothole, material in the back of the truck, and they would go out and fill up some potholes, and then our staff would have to come back, and we would probably have 7 or 8 vehicles going out all over the county doing that. Well, it just didn't make sense to me that there's a lot of waste of time there going back and forth to our office here. So we bought these hot boxes, and we bought 2 of them, and it holds a lot more material. We can keep our material warm, and we have crews of 4 that can go out, and we can do a lot of repairs at one time. This picture here happens to be, it looks like the state of Ohio pothole. It's kind of unique, I guess. Another operation we do is the drag patch. You've probably seen these, this operation, excuse me, pretty much all over the county. The edges of our roads often are thinner as far as material buildup, and so and a lot of large farming equipment, trucking, use our county roads, and usually the edges are cracked up. This operation is we have a distributor that drives in front of the large dump truck there, and it puts down an oil material, and then we drive in and we lay down a 6-foot wide thin asphalt layer, and then we come back with a rubber tire roller, or excuse me, this is a steel drum roller here, and compact it down. These drag patches do a pretty good job as far as making our roads smooth, as far as the rideability along the edges of our roads. Again, this is a temporary patch to hold us over until we can do something more substantial. Another thing that we deal with is the horse troughs in the southern regions. In the northwest region of Wayne County, we have Amish community that uses our roads. And here's a picture of one of the troughs on one of the county roads, and we measured the depth there, and it's around 4 inches. Actually, this is makes it difficult to drive in these areas, and then these troughs hold water and becomes a real issue as far as the freezing and thawing and causing more potholes. So we do go through, and similar to our drag patch operation, we will go through and fill in these horse troughs. Typically, in a lot of the Amish traveled roadways, you can expect a good 1/2 inch or a little bit more of reduction or an increase in depth of the trough each year. That's about how much they dig up of the asphalt. Here's a picture of some of the horseshoes, the drill tech that they put on the bottom of their horseshoes. We actually did a study. We worked with Holmes County and Jackson County, and we worked with ODOT, and they did a study of the different types of spikes that were put on these horseshoes, and then they came up with different options of relieving these spikes and the different types of horseshoes that would still give them friction, so their horses wouldn't slip, but also would give them some safety value too. That they put these large spikes in because of a lot of the chip and seal roadways that are down their way. Well, that tar will bleed up through, and it gets on the bottom of their horseshoes. So they feel that adding this, getting these horseshoes up out of the road, over the road surface, above the road surface, it helps them from getting tar into their shoes. But anyways, we had the study done, and we are working with the Amish steering committee and working together. It's a joint project as far as the Amish reducing these spikes or going to a different horseshoe, and then we have to look at different ways of treating our roads so that they will feel comfortable. going down the road. So the study's been done. COVID's kind of pushed off us getting together with the Amish steering committee, but anyways, we're hopefully we can get some good results. One thing is electric bikes are doing a nice job as far as keeping the horses off the roads also. Another operation is the scratch pave, similar to drag patch, but this is the whole lane. Again, it's we put down a emulsion and then come basically over it with an asphalt layer, usually a thin layer of asphalt just over an inch thick. This is usually done to reestablish the slope on our road, and so we can get drainage, positive drainage. A lot of our roads get pretty wavy, and because of the large vehicles, this helps fill those gaps in and becomes a nice, nice smooth surface. Another operation, this is probably the biggest operation that we do, is the chip and seal. This is definitely the most bang for your buck as far as helping to maintain your roads. Here you can see a lot heavier emulsion put down, and then a small stone, number 8s or smaller, is put in down over top of that, and then we roll it with rubber tire roller. And usually with the chip and seal process, you can expect that to last about 4 or 5 years before having to get back at it. But again, it's trying to keep the water from getting into the road base and causing potholes. Another process, now we bid this process out, is the microsurfacing. We don't have the equipment or ability to do that. This is another thin layer of asphalt. This is probably a very small particles that go into the microsurfacing, very thin layer. And we have this in a couple spots. Actually, this is in front of our building on West Old Lincoln Way. And then we've done it on 30A on East Old Lincoln Way in a few spots too. This is probably more of a Cadillac of a chip and seal process. Something we've did last year is we reclaimed a road. If you look here to the left, what we do is we go in and basically chew up the road about 12 to 8 inches in depth. And with this piece of equipment here, this is Melway. We did this project on Western Road, and what we've done is after we chew it up, we come in and we dump large 57 limestone in, and we grade it with the existing material, compact it with the sheep foots roller and vibrating rollers, and then come in and do a double chip and seal over that. So we're looking at doing that again this year too on another section of Western Road. But sometimes the road just gets so bad that you have to just do a total reclaim. Another thing that we do here is often with a resurfacing project, with a mill and fill project, we will the contractor will mill off 2 or 3 inches of the existing road. Burton City, we did this last year. Then what we do is we have the contractor come and deliver those the old asphalt that they mill off to our yard, and then we have a company, Fikert in this case, that come in and they can grind this these millings into a size that's usable for us. And then here's a picture of our pug mill. We'll take this finished product and we make our own material for berming, and we also make it for filling potholes. So we were able to we don't waste any material that is out there. We are in the process of working with ODOT, doing a test project with them using recycled asphalt for chip and seal process. And they're also looking at using that for the microsurfacing. So this year we will do some chip and seal using instead of using a limestone or slag, we're going to use this recycled asphalt, and hopefully that works out well. So we do take that recycled asphalt, we create our own berming material, and here's our crews putting and placing the berm. And we also, like I said, we do a lot of contract paving. This is usually we get grant money to offset the cost of this, usually paying 80 to 90% of the project costs. Here is the milling machine, taking the 2 or 3 inches of asphalt out. And then here's the crews putting the asphalt down. This year we are contracting paving Apple Creek Road between State Route 585 south to back Orville. Another operation that we have to do to maintain our roads is the ditching process. Here shows an equipment that we put on our boom mowers, and this actually will remove a layer of dirt that's in the ditch and throws it up into the farm fields. We've used this in a few areas, and then another option is our grade all, and we come in and do ditches and repair them, and often in areas that ditches after after a period of time, they fill in with silt and need to be maintained. Another operation that we do ourselves or we've been bidding out the last couple of years is cutting berm. We'll go through and with a grader we cut, and you can see here we're removing this probably about 4 or 5 foot. What we're trying to do is get the water off the edge of the road. And what happens is over time, these berms, the edges of the road will build up with soil, and it blocks the water from getting into the ditches. And so we have to go through and cut and remove those so that the water can get to the ditch. And here's a picture of our crews after we got done doing a layer of doing that. But you can see here is a small swale. The water is able to get over and infiltrate into that swale. Another thing that we've is the mowing. We own a couple of boom mowers, and we also own a couple of straight blade mowers here. Last couple of years, we've bid this process out because it's unbelievable the amount of money that's tied up into mowing. This is equipment that definitely gets abused the most, and we're finding ourselves spending a lot of money in repairs, plus the time it takes for our guys to be out there mowing. And so this frees up for us to bid this projects out, the mowing out. It frees up a lot of our manpower, and we still own our mowers, and we definitely go out and like during this time of the year, even when it's a little colder, but we don't have the snow, we can get out and maintain our right of way. Another area is the traffic control, is the striping that you see on your roadways, and then all the signs that we have out there. The sign shop is right before I started, they actually purchased we're able to make our own signs in-house, and so we maintain 9,314 signs, 1,200 of those being the road name signs. But our crews are able to, we buy the steel blanks, and then we were able to, with the equipment, we were able to cut and make our own facings for the signs. Another operation was the striping of the 499 miles. 305 of that we stripe with a yellow center line. And then we also stripe 255 centerline miles with the edge lines. So we have quite a bit of striping that we do. We've been bidding that work out up until a couple of years ago. And what we did is we decided to get into our own striping business. And part of this is the reason why is when we bid it out, I was out in the county driving around. It was the day after Thanksgiving, and the contractor was out striping, and it was probably 20 degrees out. And I knew the quality of the stripes were going to be pretty poor. And then I also, of course, found out too that there was quite some rows that they were missing. And so we decided that this gives us a lot more flexibility to be able to do it in-house, and we can definitely have a lot better quality control. So that being said, we took an old refrigerator truck and we removed the refrigeration portion of it, and now we have a flatbed truck, and we purchased a palletized striper, and we can load. This is a 260-gallon tote of paint, and and here's our bead tank that adds the reflectivity to our striping. And to the right here, you can see we also do the special markings for all the railroad crossings and crossbars for stop for intersections. And we've been doing this for a couple of years, and first year was a little rusty, and we've definitely gotten better, and I look forward to this year having a successful year. Another thing is the snow and ice we have to take care of. This is an old picture of 1936 where they had the cinder spreader, and that's actually cinders would be nice to have. They're hard to get nowadays, and so we don't have as much cinders as we'd like to have, that's for sure. But here's a couple pictures of the 76, Blizzard of 76, and had an opportunity to talk to Bill McCullough. He was the county engineer. In fact, he started in 1977, and it was kind of funny. He said before he found out where the restroom was at in the new facility that he was working at, he had to give a call to the National Guard to help them assist remove snow. I was looking forward to meeting Bill and talking with him, and just picking his brain. But he ended up passing away actually this year, and so I was kind of sad to hear that. But anyways, that was quite a snow event. We have 22 snow routes, and here's a picture of our salt shed. And we typically order about 5,000 tons of salt a year. And something that I added since coming here to the county engineer's office is we also put down a liquid brine. We do this in conjunction with spreading salt, and this helps activate our salt quicker, and it also helps the salt from bouncing off the road. It helps it to adhere better to the road. So that's something that we have started also.
Scott, you're doing a great job. You got the 2-minute warning, man. 2-minute warning.
Okay. Well, yes, I will. There's the salt prices there. You can see they've kind of gone all over the place. And another thing that we're doing this year is we're going to be adding flood sensors to a couple of the creeks. The city of Worcester is also partnering in this project with our soil and water conservation. We were able to get a grant from Muskingum Watershed, These sensors are going to be put into the streams, and it's going to help us to see what the elevations of the waters are, so we can get out there and close the roads and let people know more actively. Another thing that we do is safety projects. We set aside $300,000 a year for safety projects. Another thing, duties of the county engineer is bridge replacement projects. Definition of a bridge is 10 foot or greater. We have 492. We rank second number of bridges of all 88 counties. We started something last year, was the power washing and sealing to the left there. If we power wash and seal probably every 10 years, it definitely does a lot better than preserving our existing structure. And here's what happens if you don't do that. We also pour our own concrete beams and abutment pieces and wing walls. We test our own concrete. Here's a box culvert picture. Here's the precast walls that we built, and we bid out our box culverts. Here's a precast bridge that we're installing. And we had a bridge collapse this last year on Newkirk Road in Clinton Township. He was probably about twice the weight. This is a grain hauler, and we're still working with the insurance company and resolving that. And we have a Facebook page. If you want to find, if you like us and become a Facebook member and we're friends of us, you will get the up-to-date stuff that's going on with our office. And then we have a website that we've just updated. And you can find a lot of facts and information on our website. And if there's any questions, you can always call me. There's my cell phone number and my email address. So I'll take any questions at this time.
Excellent. Nicely done, Scott. That's a lot of information. You were worried about filling up time. You had no problems. That was well designed. It was a good engineer. Any questions for Scott? Any comments for Scott here? A real quick one. Dr. Kiefer wants to know why cinders are hard to get.
Well, the steel manufacturing, a lot of the cinders come from, it comes as a byproduct of that process. They become so efficient with that. You just don't get as much cinders from that process as you used to be able to get. Because of the EPA regulations and of course, they're always trying to improve their operations, the steel manufacturing. I know that is one of the areas that because of that, we don't receive as much.
Okay. And then I had a question there, Scott. So the roundabouts, I remember when there was discussion about the first one coming in, social media blew up like it was the end of the world, right? And they actually turned out to be pretty nice. What about up there towards the Doylestown area, 585-21, that redesign of that area? Are you going to see more of that configuration in the future?
That is definitely an ODOT. Those reverse cuts I don't see that being something that the county would get involved with. Part of the thing with the roundabout, of course, is the area of land necessary to put a roundabout in. It's a little bit more than if you were added a turn lane to the same intersection and with signals. But when you start putting those reverse, is basically the U-turns where you can't go straight through. Those are definitely on divided highway situations. Of course, we don't have any of those in the county that we have to maintain. So it's, that's not even something that really is even part of in the conversation.
Okay.
Justin, we did have one in the chat. Can I give that one real quick?
Oh yeah, please go for it.
Okay, it's the majority of Rotary's Parade of Flags are within city limits, but some subscriptions are at addresses on county roads. Considering berm maintenance, etc., is there any particular guidance you have for Rotary on the installation and placement of flags.
I'm sorry, what was that now?
Our
sorry, go ahead.
placement of the Rotary flags, when they're on a county road, something you maintain, is there any recommendations you have for how far back off we should have them?
Oh,
So they
I'm
don't?
sorry. Yeah. I mean, typically, we ask people to stay behind the back of the ditches. That's typical of an existing ditch. That usually will get you to where the road right of way is, or to our easements. I mean, as far as policing that, we don't go through and pull flags out of the road right away or anything of that nature. But we try to keep those type of, we let people know that it's best just to stay behind the existing ditches.
Excellent.
I mean, it definitely, when it comes to mowing season, it definitely helps us to keep those type of things behind the existing ditch.
Excellent. Well, Scott, you did
Thank
a
you.
great job. We appreciate your time today. Unfortunately, we're out of time, so we'll cut it off there. But you did a really nice job, Scott. So thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Next week, Nate Schindewolf, the superintendent of the Tri-Way local schools, the Titans. Yeah, I can't remember. He's going, yeah. Don's got that lined up for us. And so our own Nate Schindewolf will give an update as to where Tri-Way local schools. Don, do you want to hit on anything other than that or not?
No, not really. Just we got a lot of things going on in Tri-Way if you haven't heard, and Nate will bring us up to date. A lot of new developments, let's put it that way.
That's awesome. That's great. Folks, again, if you had an opportunity to fill out the survey, cool. If you want to do it this afternoon, that's fine as well. Little input to our board as to when we will reconvene in person. So everybody have a safe and good week, and we will see you next Monday for Nate Schindewolf and Tri-Way Local Schools. Have a good week.